What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Tide Talk. It's Monday, May 19th, and we are here to discuss RIFC bringing home 3 points from Tampa with their 3-0 win Saturday night against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Just a reminder that each episode of Tide Talk is available on YouTube. And if you're watching now, please take a second to subscribe to our channel. If you're watching this live, please hit that thumbs up button as it helps the YouTube algorithm show Tide Talk to more people. Honestly, even if you're not watching live, you're watching later, please smash that like button. You can also find us on your favorite podcast applications like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And if you're listening there, we'd really appreciate it if you left us a 5-star rating and a short review, as it helps more people find our podcast. One last plug here. If you're not already on the RIFC Club Collector app, please check it out. It's an incredibly fun way and free way to have some extra fun watching this team. Once you're there, enter code TIDETALK25, all one word, to get an exclusive pack to add to your collection. So everybody, let's cozy up. Let's crack a beer. And let's dive into this one. I'm Ryan, and I will be playing host tonight, and I am honored to be joined by Mr. Player Ratings himself, Timmy Sclafani. Timmy, how you doing tonight?
Yeah, doing pretty well. I like that usually when there's a fill-in on the pod, we keep it a secret, but you announce this one, so instead of people being disappointed when they show up, they can just not come at all. It's very good.
Yeah, I was banking on the amount of vitriol that would be coming your way with the player ratings, which we'll get into when we get to the end of this one. But usually we do these and you do the player ratings the next day. So first time you've been in the hot seat when people can actually start peppering you, and we're already getting some 7s in the chat, and that's not good. We're just starting off here. So very excited to see how this one turns out, mostly for Timmy. But yeah, Timmy, so lead up to the match. This is a fun one as neither of us watched this one live. So I would ask you about the guild. I'd ask you about the atmosphere. Neither of us have that. If anyone has any stories of how they watch this game, especially at the guild, we'd love to hear it in the chat. But I think the big narrative going into this one was 5th game in 15 days. The players definitely have started to look a little leggy, and you absolutely can't blame them. But yeah, how are you feeling going into this one?
I was feeling. I predicted a loss in the prediction league, which was.
I was so close to bringing it up, but I was gonna let you just walk away from that. But
yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, obviously Tampa on paper looks like they're having an incredibly rough season. So I think there was a lot of optimism going into this one, and I understand why. But I think for a lot of reasons, you and Matt and you and Andrew have hit on them a lot over the last week. I just don't see where goals are going to be coming from for this team right now. So I just didn't have a whole lot of confidence going into this one. And we will obviously get into it. We got an answer to where the goals will come from. Not exactly what I was expecting, but yeah, despite my prediction, I can see why there was a lot of optimism going into this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime you're going up against the kind of 2 last place teams or so in the league, especially after last game, again, I know there was a lot of back and forth with a lot of people of, did RIFC play well in the Birmingham game? I was team, I don't care. They got the win, and that's all I care about. So, hey, again, 5th game, 15 days, absolutely insane run that this team has been on, and we'll get more into that. But I'll kick this one off with the lineup here. So we saw a lineup here of kind of what we've been seeing a lot of. So Koke at the back with Grant Stoneman, Amy Ambika, Frank Nadarce, and Aldair Sanchez in that back line. We had a midfield trio of Maxi Rodriguez, Clay Holstad, and Zachary Haribow, with a line of Noah Fuson, Albert Dikwa, and Joji Equizera up top. What do you think of that?
I really liked it. I kind of want to give Kano some credit for actually the way that he's rotated both the back line and the midfield over the last 2 or 3 games. He's actually, despite all of the injury troubles that we're having, he was actually able to get a rest for most of our players sometime over the last few games. Some of the rests got cut short by various other injuries that are still happening. Somehow we're still accumulating more injuries, but you kind of hit on it. But so we get how many different players did we get a rest for over the last week? We got a rest for Clay, we got a rest for Amos, we got a rest for Haribo. So kind of the main midfielders, we got a rest for Stoneman, got a rest for Rio Hope Gund. you still kind of worry about, I think Aldar's played a lot of games in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I think Maxi's played a lot of games in a row, Noah. But other than that, pretty good rotation, I would say, over the last 3 to 4 matches.
Yeah, and I mean it's always tough with rotation because it is a bit of a gamble, especially with a team trying to pick up some momentum and stuff like that. So you do have to give Kano credit. At the end of the day, the results are gonna dictate that because hey, if we got exposed on the right side and we took Rio out, and people would be upset about that. So outcomes write the stories here. But again, I do think it's something that Kano has gotten better with over time, and I'm really happy to see that. My big reaction to this was we finally get to see the midfield. Since we literally signed Maxi Rodriguez, the blog I wrote then, I predicted that this would be the starting midfield we'd see. I wrote it again. If anyone read our kind of position problem blog where we were trying to predict kind of what decisions kind of would have to make that way. And this is, again, the midfield three I've been waiting to see via injury or via just people being unavailable. We haven't gotten to see it yet, or people playing defense, but I was excited to see it. I don't know that it was unbelievable, except for the actual unbelievable moments. But I'm really, again, happy to see those guys on the pitch here.
I would say we announced, we announced the Maxi signing on December 3rd. I guess we had maybe heard buzz of it for like 2 weeks prior to that. So I would say since middle of November, you have been begging for that midfield lineup. So I was excited to finally see that on paper. And then I have a question for you on the lineup.
Timmy, yes.
With the exclusion of Dikwa, who I think many of us would be in agreement, like you'd rather see JJ up there. Do you think this is our best 11?
The only swap out I'd make right now is Rio for Stoneman. I think Rio's earned that. I think Rio's earned that right center back spot. And the only other one I'll just keep bringing up, mostly because I saw a picture of him with Gabby Alves this weekend and looking absolutely massive, was Hugo Bacharach. Man, it's just like he towers over Gabby and he's just ripped to shit. I need to see this guy in a football pitch at some point. But yeah, so with the disclaimer that Hugo might get in there at some point, this is my 11 with Rio in there. How about you?
I totally agree. And I thought what you would say, or what more people would say, would be Rio for Frank, based on Frank being the right back starting in this game instead of Rio. But that was going to be my tricky twist, was I was going to say Rio for Stoneman as well, but you beat me to it. And I see people in the chat beat me to it too. So I'm not as clever as I think.
The chat's a humbling experience for anyone who's never been in the hot seat up here. The chat can be tough, but please keep those comments coming. I will do my best to keep multitasking and bringing them up. Yeah, I think the Frank versus maybe Stoneman at this point debate. I think a lot of people just kind of penciled in Mabika in there at this point. I'm one of them, so I definitely would have him in there. But yeah, I said it last time. I don't know that Stoneman's had the best year. For kind of what he brings to the team, which is kind of that like veteran presence, that leadership. I don't know that he's made a lot of kind of really silly mistakes. And if you ever are talking about Frank, kind of the thing you criticize is that he makes silly mistakes, but he also has like kind of the intangibles of just height and just a little bit more athleticism. So I guess I would kind of bank on the upside, especially with what we've seen so far with Frank and Mabika together. But yeah, more to come. I think this is going to be a rotating cast. Hopefully it is, quite frankly, so that we can, see this group develop, but also kind of get that rotation in there and kind of have a deeper bench to rely on here.
See Yao getting a lot of love as the partner with Mabika as well in the chat, which yeah, I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah, I mean it's an interesting one. I've never loved Yao. Again, when you focus on his like limitations. Again, he's also been someone this year who I think has made pretty like out of character mistakes, especially like with the second half last year. He's got caught ball watching a lot, which is like one of my biggest pet peeves so far. So, we'll see once he comes back to fitness. But again, hopefully this is a problem that Kano has to sort through. I would love to see all these guys fit, and we actually have to start making these calls. So, hopefully we see Yao back soon. I think the reporting was that he's coming back sooner than later. So, more to come on this debate for sure. But yeah, so as we go through this first half, I think it really started out like pretty sloppy in a lot of ways. It was one of those games where like no one really had a decent hold on possession. No one could string together a ton of passes. But yeah, Timmy, what'd you make of the first even 40 minutes or so of this one?
I mean, you mentioned at the start of the pod, like neither of us got to watch it live. So I knew the score during my watch, which really does like kind of change how you watch the match. I mean, I would have been horrified, I think, watching the first 30 minutes if I didn't know the score. And I did know the score, and I was horrified watching the first 30 minutes. Like I thought it was worse than like broken plays. I thought Tampa was honestly putting a lot of pressure on us. I mean, Mabika, like you said, was huge with like a ton of clearances, mopping up everything in the first 20 or 30 minutes. But almost all of the chances, I think, were going Tampa's way. And other than, I think they put a few over the net, and then I thought there was some bad like final third decision making by was Passius, I think, or Passius was like their main central striker. Was like electric, but then he would just make one kind of misplayed pass like right at the end and squandered a few chances. So first half, and especially first 30 minutes, I thought was very much in favor of Tampa. I think we were very lucky not to be down a goal.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I think from some of the like comments I heard about this game, I think it surprised a lot of people. Again, a lot of us came into this game being pretty down on Tampa. You look at the standings, you look at, some of their underlying stats. It's not, it hasn't been looking great for them. Anytime you see a picture of fans with bags over their head at a game, you kind of start to think a little low of a team. And I think maybe we came into it pretty confident. I mean, again, because I'm going to probably repeat this 300 times in this podcast, but this was the 5th game in 15 days. And a lot of these guys have been involved in almost all of those. So you can understand there might have been a little tired legs there, but the way that we couldn't, we were kind of giving them a lot of space, a lot of ground. And I think we looked a little overrun there.
Yeah. I mean, Tyler said it right off the rip, but I didn't think Tampa looked like a last place team at all. They looked much better than that.
Yeah, I don't like the Timmy Tyler connection that's happening right now, but Tyler is right. I'll give him that. So I mean, obviously, again, a lot of the chances went their way, but it did not matter going to halftime with Clay Holstad doing what he does best in the 48th minute here.
For Tampa Bay.
Yeah, 2 successful seasons in Birmingham before coming to the Rowdies.
Holstad! Oh, it's a blast! 1-0, Rhode Island goes on top. 50th minute. Where did that come from?
What a strike by Holstad. They backed off, gave him some room, and boy, did he put his laces on it. Gets his 2nd goal of the USL Championship, and this one was a scud.
Yeah, I'll tell everyone right now, just heads up, we're going the full replay of all these goals coming up. But I mean, as someone says, Clay doing what Clay does best. And also, speaking of Tyler's comment here about the keeper, they kept just zooming in on this guy, and it just kept getting more and more depressing, which again, we'll talk about after this. But quite frankly, it kind of came out of nowhere, like the guy said. But the amount of dip, the amount of swerve, and just the strike from Clay was absolutely unbelievable.
I mean, do these teams did they have a scouting report on Clay? Like that is the thing that he does. Like, how did nobody close him out? It was
again, all 3 of the goals, you could say that. It's actually kind of crazy that they just were like, yeah, have fun.
I honestly, I have I have a question, but I'm gonna hold it until we're at the 2nd or 3rd goal on that point. But yeah, I think Clay has scored 6 goals in the league for us combining last year and this year. Like, has one of them not been a banger? I feel like I can almost remember all of them. I think maybe there was one that was kind of like a scrappy, like loose in the box finish. And I literally think the rest have been like missiles from like 40 feet out.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the funniest part of that clip was the reaction from the Rhode Island FC players. You had Aldair, who just was like hands on his head, like, oh my God. And then you had Zach Haravow just calm as you could be, just walking up to Clay. It was honestly very, very funny.
Yeah, they probably see him do it 10 times at every game at practice. They're probably like, yeah, of course it went in.
Yeah,
top right corner. That's where he lives. But
Tim, question from the chat. Tim Sheldon would like to know if you have subscribed to Tide Talk yet.
Yeah, I want to set the record straight. I made the discovery that I apparently have 2 YouTube accounts, and my second one was not subscribed. That was what happened there. Main account was subscribed, longtime subscriber. Good time to plug. Like 297 YouTube subscribers. I made my line in the sand and said I thought we could get 300. I said by the end of the month, which seems like a no-brainer at this point.
Yeah, so if everyone out there just makes a couple extra YouTube accounts like Timmy, we'll be there in no time. So get on it, everybody. You have a whole podcast to do it. So
honestly, super quick on the Clay goal. Go vote for.
We'll get this. We'll get this in a second. We do have to talk about this. Yes,
we do.
There's a slide about this. It's actually it's an important discussion we actually have to have about this, but we'll get there. Okay. So quickly going into the first half stats, which I'll pull up here. So yeah, I think it really does kind of talk through a lot of what people have been saying about this. So while Rhode Island FC had the majority of the possession at 55%, Tampa had more shots, double the shots on target. I think both teams are right there with accurate passes. Tampa really making this game a bit choppy. 8 fouls committed to R5, and then they had 5 corners to R1. So I totally get why people would have been a little bit nervy coming out of this one, but soccer's a weird game, and sometimes you get a really nice goal out of nowhere, and it can really turn things around, because I'm sure Kano had one team talk, and he kind of had to maybe edit it a bit, maybe not. I don't know. But what did you think about the first half as a whole, Timmy?
I was literally about to say what you just said. I bet Kano had one very specific team talk in mind, and kind of had to. I mean, I would hope that he wouldn't change it too much, honestly, just by Clay scoring that goal. And honestly, I thought Tampa's best chance of the half actually came like 2 minutes after Clay's goal. I thought once again we were very lucky not to go into the half 1-1, but yeah, not an impressive half in my opinion. I thought we were better in the second, but where was there was something in particular. Yeah, touches in the opposition.
You did tell me you had a stat you're going to unleash on me. I'm just waiting for it.
That's what I was just double checking. It's the second half. It's a good second half stat. So that's all I got on the first half.
All right, I like that. Doing a little foreshadowing. But so we get to the second half, and I think Rhode Island FC did come out looking better. We did see kind of towards that like 10 to 15 minutes into the half. It's one thing I totally forgot to mention is in the first half, Josiah Quezera did get hurt. No real updates on that. It did give Amos, who was probably due for a rest at this point, a lot of minutes back in his legs, but you will see him back out here. But yeah, in the 60th minute, we started to see some chances piling up here, and I'll play both of those here.
3 players with man buns. We have Maxi Rodriguez.
Here comes Rodriguez. Maxi Rodriguez looking for an opening. Takes the shot. Oh, Campisi makes a save. That ball looks like it was going to squeeze inside that far post. You cannot rest on your reputation.
No.
You have got to earn it week in and week out. Oh, what a ball this time. Oh, great save.
Yeah, so you'll see Rhode Island FC really starting to rack up the pressure there. I like that. We don't see this a ton with them as much, but really kind of building through the middle. I thought that was great to see. I'm also liking this Noah Maxi kind of not romance, but like chemistry that's building on the pitch. I think they're really doing a good job kind of figuring each other out, swapping positions. And I think that could really, really deadly for us going on the season. But yeah, Timmy, how'd you feel about kind of the momentum starting to build as we went into like the middle of the second half?
Yeah, I mean, those were 2 of our better chances, I think, of the entire game. To be honest, I'm going to keep being the Debbie Downer. Like Tampa had a couple of good chances before that, so they actually came out and started the second half pretty much where they left off. On the first Maxi chance, I thought he did pretty well to take it. I will say, I think that his run through the midfield started with him turning it over and then winning it back in the midfield. I thought he looked a little bit tired in this match, which is completely fair. We also didn't do a great job getting him the ball in areas where he could actually make a difference. I do think the chemistry, like you mentioned, between Noah and Maxi is starting to build up, and I would actually throw Harivo into that equation as well. I always thought last season Noah and Harivo had some of the best like link up, especially moving up the left side of the field, kind of these like tight, intricate passing triangles. I thought those two always had that really good or like kind of in their bag. And then adding Maxi into that has been really fun to watch. So I felt like we got to see some good moments of Noah as a result of that. The second chance that you just played, best chance of the game, in my opinion. I think we had only one of our shots was classified as like a good quality chance. It must have been that one, I'm assuming. It's a great run from Noah. Then he plays the through ball to Maxi, right? Who one times it across the goal mouth to Chico. Kind of one of those I feel like is almost harder not to score than it is to score. The goalkeeper did make a good save, but it's also kind of just like what we've been seeing from Chico lately. It's a little disappointing.
Yeah, he's kind of, I know we talked about this, I think, last time, but like he's kind of a candidate for me of like he just needs to see one go in or something like that. Because yeah, some of these misses we're seeing are almost harder to miss than not. But yeah, maybe a little momentum at some point for Chico. But hey, as long as we're getting the job done, as long as someone's putting the ball in the back of the net, I'll take it at this point. But speaking of putting the ball in the back of the net, it didn't take long for Zachary Haribo to kind of get the goal of the week competition started in the Rhode Island FC locker room here.
Getting back there is White. Here's Haribo. Zach Haribo, the shot, and he scores. Zach Haribo has come back to Al Lang Stadium, and he brought a dagger with him.
He has battled back from injury, hard times, went up to Rhode Island, got an opportunity, scored 4 goals and 3 assists last season, and has come back to Ireland. And
so yeah, Haribo kind of flashback to his Birmingham debut last year, where he scored those 2 goals in the second half. But what do you think about that one from Haribo?
Yeah, I mean, Martin just mentioned, he just mentioned that. That is great commentary. I love that comment. He says,
yeah, for those podcast listeners, he was talking about the comment from the commentator that Zachary Haribo brought a dagger with him, which was A+.
Yeah, he says Zach Haribo came back to Al Lang Stadium and he brought a dagger with him. That was good stuff. I wonder if he had that pre-written, because the thing is, so
no, that guy's a poet. He's just letting it riff.
Yeah, valid.
Because he also does show a pure lack of preparation sometimes. So
don't they all a little bit? But because yeah, and I mean, to that point, like there was, I feel like even we joke about like a narrative that like Haribo hates his old teams and like he's always going to score against them. Really, he only had 1 game last season where he scored 2 goals against Birmingham. But now I'm like, that's must play in Club Collector when he's playing against his old team. It might just be true. He might just love scoring against his old teams.
I mean, he seems like just a really nice guy. So I'd be shocked if he's like sitting there with like a grudge all the time. But I don't know, whatever motivates you.
One of the commentators did make a comment. This is probably based on absolutely nothing, but like implying that like
don't let it stop you.
He said something about like Haribo must have felt like he should have had more time playing at some of his former teams or something like that. I can't remember exactly what he said, so could be a little something to it. But I mean, the goal itself, a few thoughts on it. One that I definitely want to get out. They're playing a little choppy for me. I don't know if it is for anyone else. So I'm pretty sure it was this goal, but it starts with, for all the knocks that I have against Stoneman in this game, it starts with a beautiful cross-field pinged pass over the top. I think it's this goal and not the next one. And out there takes it down and makes a nice play to get it to Haribo. The finish itself is great, but like this is an incredibly not low quality. Well, it's mathematically considered a poor quality shot. It's an incredibly low percentage shot. So and all 3 of them were. I'm thrilled that we scored with them. Everyone loves scoring a banger, but like if you took any of these shots 10 times in a game, it's literally mathematically likely they would not go in.
Wow, it's usually my job to like yuck everyone's yum with data, but hey, yeah, you can take that mantle on this episode.
I just want to be realistic about the performance overall. Like,
listen,
those,
send your hate
those are
mail
not high
to
quality shots.
Timmy Sclafani at Tide Talk RI. Send it his way this time.
So to this point, this question could come after the second or third goal, but like, do you think, because all three of them were somewhat similar in that they went like top right against this keeper, do you think there was any like scouting or tactical instruction? And what I should have done was like check any other goal that Tampa Bay has conceded and just checked for myself, but I didn't. So I don't know. Do you think there was anything to that? Like that we were told like shoot top right and this guy's a goon and he's going to miss them all?
I don't. It's hard to say, like, because that's a fair thought. The only thing is, it felt like all three of them were kind of surprised how much space they had. I do think the guy kind of did a better job closing down Haribo than I remembered, but yeah, I don't know. That would be great scouting by the team, but it also just felt like Haribo took a couple touches, looked up, and was like, "Oh, screw it, I'm wide open." Same thing with Clay. So it's hard to say that it was like super planned out, but it did seem like we were trying to work the ball into that kind of central, right above the 18 there, which again is a great spot just to have the ball because it gives you a lot of options in the attacking third. But they all did kind of have it wide open, and they might have even, maybe it wasn't the keeper, but it was like, hey, this area, like Tampa just backs off people, like start ripping. So I don't really know. It's a great thought there.
The touch that Haribo takes too, I don't know. It's kind of a crazy touch. Like I actually think he's trying to take it and open up his body and like take it infield, but he hits it and puts like this tiny bit of like backspin on it. So it kind of just rolls into this perfect position for him to hit it. Like I can't even tell if he meant to do that. So I don't know if it caught him and maybe the other team by surprise as well, to your point about like, did he just look up and see he had space and hit it? Why not?
Yeah, I mean, it also helps when you see your teammate happily just smash one in. And speaking of smashing balls into the back of the net, we did get a third one with Noah Fuson in the 87th minute.
They win the ball in little pockets of space for them to play out of. Not getting stretched at all against staying as a group.
Here it comes once more. Another shot and another goal. Rhode Island right now dominating here at Al Lang. Noah Fuson adds to the total.
Well, we've seen three incredible goals tonight from Rhode Island. And Fuson, like the two before him, Holstad and Haribo.
Just absolutely unbelievable. I don't know why the clip ended where it did here. I mean, I do have to go forward here to this poor keeper. Just staring into the void of just like what has happened this evening. It's insane. I think so. This is interesting. We can start to talk about this a little bit here. I actually think Noah's might have been my favorite of the three. And yeah, I think Quadros is right. He might have got snubbed on the goal of the week here.
For just on the keeper really quick, conceding both of the second two in front of their supporter section too, that was diabolical. That was
Listen, I'll give him credit. I don't know if he should get a hand on any of the three of those. Those were all like legitimately like world-class goals.
They were very good. I think I agree. I liked Noah's better than Haribo's. I think the reason I'm still pro Clay goal of the week is well, one, I kind of like the knuckleball dip since he shot from the center of the field, and
That's
then
a very fair argument.
I also just think he's owed like 4 goals of the week. I forgot that he didn't win any last year. When someone said that in the main Discord, I was like, that's disgusting. How is that possible? That's on us. That's truly on us, the fans, for not voting and making him win one last year. He had so many good goals last year.
Listen, we were a growing fan base. We weren't as organized as we are today, but we got Joe Brito on the sheet already, and I think we have to figure out who's up next here, which we'll get to very quickly here. But yeah, this game ends. Tampa did get a red card in the second half. I don't know if that really changed the match here, but all in all, looking at the second half stats, which I'll bring up. So we had Rhode Island FC with 60% possession. We took them out on shots with 8-6. We had 5 shots on target to their one big chance, which we missed, which I think you were right was the Chico one. We just dominated them passing, 89% passing, which I think is really high, especially for us, which is great. We still did lose the corner battle, but at the end of the day, when you are putting balls into the back of the net, it does not matter. So Timmy, please wow me with your stat that you want to tell me.
Yeah,
as well as any other thoughts you have for this half.
On the second half overall, it was almost a little bit of like a broken up half in some ways, because it's like there were some chances both ways. I think we scored our second somewhat against the run of play, and then the red card happened, and it's like it sort of just changes the complexion of the game when it's 2-0 against a team who's down a man. On
Sure.
Lawrence Wyke, who was actually a name that had come up in my searches during the offseason as like an available player that maybe would be a good fit for us. No one has to believe me. I swear, when he got his yellow card and then went in for like 3 more challenges after that, I was like, this guy's not finishing the game. He's getting sent off. Sometimes you can just tell. I've watched enough Tottenham games to know. Sometimes you can just tell when someone's getting sent off. And I said Lawrence Wyke was going to get sent off.
We almost made it a whole episode with no Tottenham talk. Unbelievable. But yeah, I mean, overall, like, 3-0 victory, 3 amazing goals. I don't have much to complain about in this one.
So I've already mentioned like someone's been sharing, I think it's a USL analyst posts on Blue Sky, these like some more advanced analytics than we're mostly ever able to get through like FootMob, FBref. So I've been loving having those for the last 3 games. I failed to have it pulled up in front of me, but I think 11 of our shots were classified as poor, unexpected goals.
Yeah, we actually lost this one in XG, which is funny.
By almost three times. We were almost 3 times below Tampa Bay. So, I mean, even taking like the shot quality out of it, I guess a couple of stats that stood out to me were 13 shots for each team. This I'm looking at all right. 13 shots for each team. Only 5 of ours were inside the box. 8 of ours were outside of the box, compared to 9 inside the box for Tampa and only 4 shots outside. So I thought that was kind of just like an even more distilled way of showing sort of the quality of the shots. And like, I know we had a decent amount of shots in this game, but to only get 5 inside the box is underwhelming, I think, especially for a 3-goal game. But that's
so you would have preferred they scored those 3 goals in the box and not with really, really, really cool goals.
Basically, yeah, I like really boring. What's the word? Poacher goals. Yeah, I wish there was just a couple goalie spills and center back cleaned them up. I think that would have been a lot more exciting. Yeah,
this is fantastic. This is usually, you're playing my role really well on this one.
So
I mean, to be clear, I'll actually take this seriously. I think, you're right. And it's been the thing we've talked about for a bit now. Our chance creation isn't great. Last week, I was actually speaking about how it's not shot quantity. It's actually the quality. That's our issue. My only very minor pushback is I actually think those shots, while very far away and they are very low XG, they should be. I like that they were just uncontested for the most part. Usually our big issue this season has been we're taking shots, but we're taking them into a wall of people. I like that we were kind of, having free shots from a pretty dangerous area. Again, those are low percentage. We are probably never going to see a game like this for a very, very long time, if ever. But at the same time, I think even just kind of taking those shots does open up other things. So yeah, I mean, it is an ongoing problem. I don't think we fixed it all of a sudden. This was a bit lucky in some ways, but those are really fantastic 3 goals. And I don't know, it's hard to sit here and argue with it, tonight.
Yeah, I think one of the intangible great qualities about it is the team seeing themselves score 3 goals, and some of the individual players. I think Matt Hands put it in print first in his post-game Riptide report, but for Noah, maybe just seeing the back of the net bulge gets him rolling in a way that he hasn't been all season. I think he's been playing with pretty low confidence. So for him to get, he doesn't care. They don't ask how he got the goal. He got the goal. He's on the board, that matters.
I mean, we have heard that like after practice, if you go to practice, like all he's doing is practicing shots like that. So I don't even know if you're like, maybe it is actually great that he scored a goal like that, because I know he puts a lot of work into it, and it was like a beautiful finish. Like I know he always does like the PlayStation FIFA finesse shot. Like he puts it on his Instagram caption when he does that, and I think it means a lot to him. Yeah. So Timmy, this is a great segue in the chat here. So Martin has Mabika 9 clearances, 3 tackles, 71 touches, and 95% pass accuracy. Man of the match. So everyone, I promised we would bring up Timmy's player ratings here. And to be clear, Timmy just brought up the Riptide report that Matt Hands writes. Timmy does the player ratings. Those are both like really fantastic. Quite frankly, like pretty quick after match blogs. I couldn't recommend them more. They're digestible. They're fun. They're a great way to, start getting your RIFC fix in after the games are over. So please, TideTalkRI.com. But we'll bring up Timmy's player ratings. See if I can zoom in on this picture here.
I think that was the nicest thing you've ever said about the player ratings.
Oh, I know. I usually tear them to shreds in the newsletter. You should also subscribe to that while you are here on TideTalkRI.com. But yes, please look at it. So Timmy, it looks like you and Martin are in alignment here in terms of man of the match.
Absolutely. I'm so happy to see this. And I'm assuming a lot of people will agree. Mabika, I mean, he did all of the things that he's done every game since he's come in, maybe excluding the Revs cameo. But he just did it. It's like he's gotten just a little bit better each time, each appearance that he's made. So in this one, I already mentioned, like, especially in the first half when we were just like, kind of not totally under siege, but there were a lot of Tampa chances, a lot of Tampa corners. I swear he was clearing everything. When he wasn't clearing them, he was kind of like shepherding the ball out of play on like dangerous through balls that Tampa was playing. So even some of like the type of defending that doesn't show up in the stats, he was getting that done. Something, his size alone, but also like when Tampa plays like an entry pass to the man who Mabika is marking, he is there every time, like hovering over the guy, clattering into him, not letting him make a turn. I thought he was pretty much perfect in the first half, a couple shaky moments in the second half, and then in possession, and I know you guys spoke a lot about this over the last week, but he's, as far as playing like line breaking passes on the ground, he's not only, I think, our best center back at doing it, but I think he does it more than like some of our midfielders. And he's not just hitting the ball up to like Clay or Harivo, picking it up off the center back line. Like a lot of times he's going not so much to Dequa in this game, but at least to like Maxi. So he's going at least like two lines of Tampa players to make that pass. I just thought he was like incredibly impressive on both ends of the ball.
No, absolutely. And my plan here is like absolutely backfiring. You're just getting a lot of kudos in the chat, and I was really hoping that you were going to get skewered here. Yeah, I mean, quite frankly, I think these are really solid. Again, I'll probably write something different in the newsletter tomorrow. A little unfair to give a guy with probably a concussion a 4 out of 10. A little rude of you. But yeah, I mean, also Maxi 5 out of 10 is interesting. I thought he had a pretty good game. He looked like the most dangerous, like of like generating like normal chances in a way player. I'm also always going to probably ride for Maxi being like a point higher, just like I always ride for Noah being a point higher. Frank, again, I don't know that I saw like a 4 out of 10 game from him, but I'll give the Matt Hands approach here and just ride for Frank. So no, but overall, I mean, I think these are pretty solid, man.
Yeah, the thing with Frank, just quickly, because we didn't talk too much about him in the match, like the thing that sort of got me with him was he was playing right back, which is the position that Rio's been playing mostly, and he kind of plays a more like stay at home. We kind of do like different things in and out of possession, but the right back and Rio has been playing kind of like the stay at home. He can slide into it and make it like a back three with the center backs, while Sanchez kind of continues to have like free reign on the left flank. And I don't know. I don't think that Frank tried to do too much, but he does it from center back too, to be fair, but a couple of times at least in this match, like he dribbled very far up, which I'm all on board with him progressing the ball. He has the ability to do that, but then he doesn't really make the next pass. So he ends up losing the ball. Again, I've seen him do it many times at center back as well. But in this game, because he was playing that position that has been Rio playing like the stay-at-home right back, Tampa would get the ball off of him and then break right down the wing that he was supposed to be defending, and he just wasn't there. It happened more than once, and I was like, if you're supposed to hang back, then you got to hang back, or at least not turn the ball over. Even if it's in the opponent's half, like then, again, they would break, and he was out of position and not there to cover.
Yeah, I mean, to Matt Hand's point here, do you think Frank needs to be the left center back in this system?
I think he's been the best left center back.
Yeah, I mean, I said in the beginning,
yeah,
I put him in my starting back four as of right now. Again, I prefer having a lefty and a left center back spot. So over time, hope that Hugo can come in there, as he's our only left-footed, center back there. But yeah, we'll have to see here. And I do think for now, though, I again would prefer a Mabika Nodarse pairing in the middle. But yeah, overall, these are good. And just to read these out quickly for the podcast listener, Timmy has Koke Vegas as a 7 out of 10, Ame Mabika at 8 out of 10, Grant Stoneman 7 out of 10, Frank Nodarse 4 out of 10, Aldair Sanchez 5 out of 10, Zachary Harabout 6 out of 10, Maxi Rodriguez 5 out of 10, Clay Holstad 7 out of 10, Noah Fuson 6 out of 10, Albert Dikwa 4 out of 10, Jojea Quazera 4 out of 10, Amos Shapiro Thompson 5 out of 10, Joe Brito 5 out of 10, Rio Hopegund 6 out of 10, Temu Okioshi not rated as he didn't play long enough. Again, if you have any qualms with those, you can go find Timmy on the internet or on the to find his 1636 Discord and give it to him. But yeah, as always, nice work, Timmy, there. Cool. So now we'll get over to the in focus segment here. And I know some people have been trying to almost like tip this off. So I'm intrigued to see if you guys are happy or sad here. But so first one here, our first of three. I just have to give a lot of credit to this team. We just, we can give them shit sometimes about how they play and how things go. But this is a team of absolute dogs. 9 RIFC players have played over 300 minutes in the USL alone since May 3rd. None of this includes the Revs game. Number one, because I didn't want to do the quick math on it, but absolutely insane. We have a couple players who have played 400 minutes plus, because I don't think this includes stoppage time. It's Aldair, Koke, Maxi, Noah, Clay, Harabout, Amos, Rio, and Frank. A couple players are right under that at like 290 something. So it's been a pretty heroic effort here. Again, that's a lot of minutes at a professional level and an intense sport. So you just have to give these guys credit. It's really impressive stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Koke, I don't know. I feel like a goalkeeper can play 300 minutes with the rest.
It's a mental game back there. Yeah.
Sorry, and I do want to. I actually want to acknowledge, because I saw a couple of comments. He was great in this game against Tampa, and he's actually been great for the last few games. I would say he was I think the best game he's had of the season, probably in Tampa. But yeah, the rest of this list, like, it just worries me a little bit, because and it gets into squad building, which we've talked like a ton about, but like the four, I guess Noah, some of these players I just feel like we still don't have like adequate replacements for. Like, I don't think we have a great replacement for Aldair at the moment.
The one who scares me the most is Aldair. There's no one else who can play left back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
well, I mean, Maxi and Noah too. Like, we don't have great replacements for either of them the way that we set up currently. I mean, how have Clay, Harivo, and Amos all played over 300 minutes? Like, they all play the same position. I feel like that shouldn't be able to happen, but.
Yeah, I think like basically all of them got like 45 minutes off. Haribo played center back for a while in a couple games, so Clay's been just ever present. So yeah, I mean, also I think the one that's extremely impressive, but they're all impressive, I want to be very clear, but Amos here, had basically a whole year off last year. Kind of got thrown in the middle of this run. He didn't play a bunch going into this and has just been like a nailed on starter basically this entire time, which has been awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I would almost say the same for Rio, having joined the team pretty recently and like almost immediately made himself. I think we all talked about it last week, like probably close to the first name on the team sheet right now. Obviously, he didn't start this game just purely for rest and rotation, but I don't think any of us expected him to play that big of a role when we brought him in.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest takeaway, I was like, I didn't know they do 25-day contracts. Like, that's a wild premise. So, but yeah, again,
someone else said it last week. What were we waiting for? Like, what were we evaluating at that
was
point?
my big question.
He's like, so good.
Yeah, he's awesome. But yeah, so the next one here, I just have defense again. So I'll be super honest. The premise of this slide came from me misreading the XG. I had it backwards, but we're going to move forward there. But I do think, though, we have done a really, really good job this season defensively. I've talked about it almost every podcast at this point, just because I don't want the narrative to be that the defense has been sloppy. Or the defense has been bad. Sorry. The defense has been sloppy, which I think has led to a bad interpretation here. But we are seeing a really strong season so far. We have 4 clean sheets in the USL Championship. That's just, I think, like 2 off of the top there. 5 out of 9 games this season, Rhode Island has held opponents under 1 expected goals. 6 out of 9 games have give up less than 1 big chance here. So I really do think we're really controlling games pretty well. We're not giving up, huge chances here. And again, over the course of a season, I think the way we're playing on defense, with also a system that's a little bit more adventurous. Last year we were playing like a back 3 with, technically 2 wing backs, tucking in here, and now we're playing more of a back 4. So I think it's worked out well so far, and I'm really excited to see if they can keep building this way.
Yeah, that's exactly the same thing I was going to say. It's curious. It feels like since we started playing 1 less central defender, we've actually become more defensively sound, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But there's also other factors that play into that. Like, that's also around the time that we started playing Rio every game. Koke, like we said, has been really, really good. But yeah, we've conceded 1 goal in our last 4 league games. I would say that's very, very promising, especially compared to how we started the season.
Yeah, and for a team that's struggling to score, this is what you can really try to control. And I'm happy we're at least being so far solid on this end. Anything can change, but yeah, I think this is really a route, a path to really kind of put some good results together here. All right, everyone. So the last one here, we need to rock the vote. So we had 3 bangers, but there can only be 1 goal of the week. So we have Clay Holstad and we have Zachary Harabow, who are actually nominated. Again, I don't know if Noah should have been in there or not, but the thing is, as Rhode Island FC fans, we cannot split the vote here. I think we have to, as a team and as a community, pick one and try to win it here. So everybody, if you can put your thoughts in the chat, or just say your Clay or Zach, I'm going to live vote, and we're going to see where we kind of stand at this point. But I think as a community, we need to come together and try to get one of these over the line here. But Timmy, who's your pick?
My pick is Clay. I think I said it earlier, but basically I also I have a soft spot for a goal taken from the middle of the field rather than like one of the edges of the 6-yard box. I like how his shot kind of dips. I like how it's kind of a knuckleball. I like that it was technically the game winner, which they actually say in the blurb about the goal on the website. And then again, I think Clay, we need to backfill like 4 goal of the weeks for Clay from last season. So for all of those reasons, I have already voted on all my devices, on all my browsers, multiple times for Clay Holstad.
All right, folks, let's see where we're at. I'm going to also go Clay because it is just unanimous in the chat here. All right, so it looks like the Rhode Island FC faithful is going Clay, but we are losing big time. So Mikey Maldonado from North Carolina is at 41%. Clay is at 23%. Harabow is at 8%. And Ryan Flood, which as a fellow Ryan, that's come on, is at 28% from Phoenix here. So Rhode Island FC fans, we got a couple more days to vote. Please get your votes in for Clay. Use your browsers, use private browsing, use your phone, use your tablet, use whatever you got. Use your friends, your partners, whatever. Get it in there. I think Timmy has it right. Clay is owed a few of these, and we really need to get him over the line here as a community.
So I think there's an opportunity here because I was voting at 6:45 p.m. and it was over 40% for Ryan Flood. So the fact that it's swung this much, we just got to get coordinated here and just smash that button for Clay. I think this is there for the taking. We just got to be a united front here and get the votes for Clay. And we got to be persistent until until they announce the winner, because you can keep voting every day.
Okay, cool. I just added the link to that in the chat. Get those votes in for Clay, everybody. Perfect. So that'll really do it for the coverage on this one. I mean, Timmy, anything you wanted to add before we get to the socials?
Oh, I mean, this is so overdue. I completely forgot to do it earlier, but since I said that I had a good stat for you, I can't let it go. Against Birmingham, which I think we kind of agreed on, like, the quality of that performance overall. Against Birmingham, we had 24 touches in the opposition box. How many do you think that we had against Tampa?
I just saw, but I know it was like in the teens total.
It was not.
No, 9.
It was lower than that. It was 10.
Oh,
we had
okay.
10 touches in the opposition box. The way that FootMob works, you have to check this stat individually. I can't see it over time. I went back and checked every game that we've played since as far back as the Indy 11 playoff game. It was the lowest number of touches in the opposition box that we've had in any of those. Against Portland in the Open Cup, we had 11. So that's close, but technically this was the least touches in the opposition box that we've had since last October.
But like, why waste your time touching the ball there when the ball is just going in from 20 yards out? So, you know, I again, strategically, yes. I think it was a masterclass from Ghana.
Yeah, that's one way of looking at it.
It's a good stat. As someone who was trying to find the big chances stat, I also had to go back and click on every single game on FotMob to try to find it. So it's really funny because SofaScore has like a table sometimes you can bring up, and it can be really helpful, but then it like doesn't show up other times. I don't know.
Yeah, and FBref got rid of, you can't export to CSV anymore. They got rid of it. It's been broken for like 5 years, and they still answer in support tickets and say that they're working on it. That's not true.
At least they're working on it.
No, they're not. They got rid of it.
All right, so we're gonna get to the socials here. So we'll start on Instagram with the RIFC in 3. So JJ has just keep shooting, and I think that was a very common one from this one. Heading over to Twitter here, we have the outsider with shots on target. His good atmosphere on Tampa, can't beat it. Better shots on target for a second straight week. Best Noah getting on the score sheet should help his confidence now. I think we both talked about that and both agree on that one. We got Mr. Fluffy Cahog Boy with bangers everywhere. Attack on Football, let me rip, which is awesome. We did have nothing on Facebook. I did check. Don't you worry. All right, so to the Defiance Discord, this one always gets hard when we do this like an extra day later than normal. And shout out to everybody for sticking with us on our kind of schedule. We're going to really try to get back on the horse here. But we got Leo O. Good composure under the Rowdies' fluid offensive movements and pressure early. Better Central CB duo stepping up big time again with Amy as the standout consistency. And best midfield and Noah ripping shots and putting the game on their backs. RIFC in 3. Oops, all bangers. That's a good one. We got Tyler here with shoot and score. Good 6 points on the road. Better 3 bangers. Best coming back home. We got Andrew H here with we're so back. We got Tim Sheldon with RIFC in 3. Nothing but bangers. Good, another road win. Better, Koke keeps a well-deserved clean sheet going. And best, the club seems to be back to where we left off last season, up the tide. Tim, I'm going to disagree a little bit on that. I think we were putting the ball in the back of the net a little bit more was the only difference in more consistent ways. That's my only nitpick with that. Guys, wait, breaking news. We got the man, the myth, the legend, Comet Pants of pre-match essentials fame in the chat tonight live. This is unbelievable. The GOAT.
I do think that the good part of both of us potentially disagreeing with, I think you said it was Tim's RIFC in 3 is that means there in our opinion there's so many more levels still for us to go to be as good as we were last season. Like right now we're getting the results without great performances. I still feel like we can be up there at the top of the league when we start improving and building on some of the things in the actual performances. But right now we're doing exactly what we have to do and just grinding out the results, which is weird to say about a 3-0 win.
Yeah, I mean, do you want a fun fact that I found earlier today? We are 4th in SofaScore, I think it is, and like 3rd in FOTMob and team rating so far this season. And we were also really high like all last year too. It was kind of weird, and it was almost like hard to stomach when we just weren't winning any games. And it was like, but we're really good with the numbers. So yeah, we're doing something right. The algorithm likes us, which is really the most important part. But we'll get back to that really quickly. So we got Taris here with RIFC in 3 amazing goals. Can't argue with that one. His good, it's a winning streak. Better, 3 clean sheets in 4 matches. And best, that's a 4-game unbeaten streak in championship play. There you go. Hey, Andrew Gomes here with RIFC in 3, banger, worldy, golazo. That's a good one. Take your pick for which is which I appreciate. We got Mike M here with RIFC in 3, brought the fireworks. Good, 4 games unbeaten. Better, 3 worldy goals. Best, 2 games with clean sheets, and greatest, 1 fantastic song. He did link the Warren Kids topic. It's like an RIFC song. Definitely go check it out on YouTube. Give those guys some love. They reached out. We might try to get them on the show at some point to hear kind of how they got involved with Round FC and stuff like that. But you have to love anything people are making about this team here. So next up, Mike Howard has an RIFC in 3, banger after banger. We got Matt Jean with a GIF response of just after banger, after banger, after banger, which you love. We got Timmy here with we're going streaking. His good, scoring 3 goals, even on low quality chances. His better, 2 straight clean sheets on the road. Defense and Coke are cooking, and best, 8 points in our last 4 league matches. We got Pawtucket J here with in 3, we needed this. Good, Zach's better, Noah's best, Clay's. So it sounds like he is always going to he's also going to be voting for Clay in the thing. We got Andrew Quadros here with Tie Talk in 3. The show's always late. There we go. I think there might have been one more. Nope, that was it. So yeah, I mean, overall, great performance from Rhode Island FC, or great result, I will say. You gotta love those goals. Maybe some work to do still on the offensive end, but to me, I think some of the people brought it up here in the in like the kind of social commentary, and we can end on this. How are you feeling about the team and maybe a bit of momentum that's being picked up here? We are starting to generate points. We are moving up the league table. So are you starting to feel a bit better? Is it more like we beat up on some bad teams? Like, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great, honestly. I was thinking it's crazy what a difference a week can make. I feel like I was literally fighting for my life in terms of my Rhode Island FC mental health and fandom at this time last week. And it's crazy how quick like two good results, against pretty bad teams can completely flip that on its head. But I mean, we were in 10th place, I think, coming out of last week. We've now jumped up to 6th. And there is a little bit of a gap. Like, so we're 5 points behind North Carolina FC, which is an insane thing to say. But we're 5 points behind North Carolina in 5th place.
With a game in hand, though.
Yep, with a game in hand, and on Detroit. That's a good point. So I mean, Pittsburgh again. Well, I won't spoil my prediction. Our next 2 games are against Pittsburgh. I think those will be tough.
Which can I just say that is unbelievably bad scheduling from the schedule people, because we also play Hartford twice in a week later this season. Like, why couldn't we have just swapped those 2? Like, what a weird idea.
Yeah. Oh wait. Okay, no, sorry. FootMob lists it 3 times in a row. I was like, do we play them 3 matches in a row?
We also play like for the 2nd season in a row Indy, like very close together as well. So yeah, a lot of weird schedule nonsense happening. Yeah,
Mickey Mouse did it, but yeah, I mean, I'm feeling pretty good about it, but I'm also just like looking at the run of games.
I will tell you right now, we are not previewing anything moving forward. We hope maybe we'll get back with an away end this week, because we are not doing like 800 podcasts in 15 days. So, but no, you were really right about how I think a lot of us are feeling pretty down, especially we were feeling down and just tired and like exhausted from this run. I mean, I joke about it in the newsletter sometimes, like think of the content creators on weeks like this, but it's just hard to consistently do that, especially when the team is not looking good out there. So yeah, it's really good to see the team get a little momentum. Again, do I think those were like the best performances I've ever seen Rhode Island FC have? No. Do I think they're super sustainable? Not exactly. I think pieces of it is, and hopefully they can build on it and build into the places that they need to improve. So listen, points are at a premium in this league. We saw Louisville draw to a 10-man Hartford this weekend. So anything can happen. And I think getting those points on the board, especially early, like we waited way too long last season to start really accumulating points and left it a bit late for ourselves, which then kind of put us out of the conversation for a home playoff game, stuff like that. So as someone who absolutely wants to see this team both in the playoffs and see them in the playoffs in Pawtucket, getting points now is maybe even better than getting it late. So
yeah, I also think this is a quality of good teams is going on the road and beating bad teams in unconvincing ways. Every good team is able to do that. So I think that's promising that we're doing it, even if I still want to see, especially at home, some like actual dominant, convincing performances, which again are going to be a little tough because the run of games coming up is actually pretty horrifying as I'm staring at it. But I think we're coming into them in coming off of the right results in a good place in the table. I think there's no reason that we can't kind of spring our season starting here.
Yeah, I mean, I quite frankly, I almost disagree. Where I think I'm at the point at this part of the season, I almost care more about points than how we look. Versus maybe towards the end of the season, I care a bit more about us looking good going into the playoffs. Like, okay, this is a team that has like a consistent way to play that like they can bury teams and play well. Whereas right now, I'm like, just get points on the board and we'll figure it out over the course of the season. But either way, we I think are all in agreement that this is not the best of Rhode Island FC. And really, quite frankly, it would not be good if in May we were seeing the best version of this team. You want the best version of this team in April and hopefully November. So a lot more to come here. But as always, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Just a reminder that Tide Talk is more than just a podcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook for daily social media content. Also have to shout out, especially with Timmy here, the blog at tidetalkri.com, where you can find player ratings, pre and post match analysis, and our take on the latest RIFC news. If you're still here, make sure you smash that like button. It helps more people find this show. But I've been your host, Ryan, and a big, big thank you for Timmy to jumping in the seat, coming right off soccer to join us tonight. But most importantly, thank you to everybody who joined in live, and we'll see you next time. As always, up the tide. And happy birthday, Amanda.
Happy birthday, Amanda.